Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you again, ladies, for the opportunity to be here. It is an absolute pleasure. I know that I have a short amount of time, so my session today will be very, very focused on a particular area of resumes and how I usually help my clients as a resume writer. And so I am going to share my screen so you can all see this short and sweet presentation. Okay, so today I am really, like I said, it's gonna be super focused on a certain area of your resume and mostly the experience section of your resume. I am going to share 4 metrics that recruiters really love to see on resumes. So if you did not hear the introduction before, my name is Kevonna McAnuff. I am a career strategist and HR business partner. I specialize in helping ambitious but discouraged job seekers develop effective job search strategies so that way they can get past recruiting robots, secure job interviews, and of course, get hired. So the 4 metrics that I'm going to go through today are growth, reduction, impact, and frequency. And if it helps, since you guys can't see the presentation, I will be sure to send it. I can send it to you, Shushima, so that way when you send out the recording, everybody can also have the presentation as well. So when you are deciding on which metrics to include in your resume, it's important that you think about key performance indicators, also known as KPIs. The reason why I'm going through this section of the resume is because in helping job seekers, I realize that this is an area where a lot of job seekers get stuck, not really sure around what recruiters mean when they say, or resume writers, what we mean when we say you need to have key achievements, delivered results, measurable results on your resume, not just tasks and duties. And so I really want to go through and give you some tips around adding some of those metrics onto your resume. So the first one I'm going to talk about is growth. Recruiters really, really love to see how you've helped an organization, the companies that you've worked for, grow, right? So let's say, for example, salespeople, they are often assessed on how much revenue they bring in, how many new clients they bring in, how many customers potentially that they renew, all of those things. So based off of the industry that you're in, you want to think about, or the industry you want to be in, excuse me, you want to think about what numbers matter the most for you in your industry so you know which metrics to pull from and add onto your resume. So when we talk about growth, again, think about what did you add to the company, right? Maybe how many website visits did you help grow for the company? How much revenue did you help bring in for the company? How many deals did you close? Maybe partnerships that you've secured. If you're in the recruiting space, maybe how many candidates you've helped hire. All of those things add to how you've helped an organization grow. So I have a couple of examples that I can go ahead and share with you. For example, maybe you've brought in 500,000 unique website visits to your company's website, right? Maybe you're a digital marketer and you've helped increase followers. So here's where I talked about growth. Now, the next one that recruiters really, really love to see, another metric, is reduction. So in the same way that they really care about how you've helped a company grow, they also want to know potentially how you've helped the company save either money, time, bounce rates, things of that nature. For example, I am an HR business partner. I do work for a global organization Monday through Friday. And if you know anything about human resources, we're typically the function or department that is non-revenue generating, meaning we don't actually make the company money, right? So a lot of what we focus on or what's focused, especially on my resume, is how I've helped the company save money. I may not be in the position where I'm helping you make money, but I can definitely save you some money. I can save you some time with a variety of processes and tools that I've helped develop or implement, right? So think about whether you have a concrete way or not to measure how you've helped your company save money or time, right? Maybe you've helped them save money because while you're not the person bringing in new clients, you're the person focused on client retention. You're helping to make sure that they stay, right? So that's client turnover or employee turnover. That's something from an HR side that I directly impact. I may not be the person that is, again, bringing in the company money, but I am saving the company a lot of time and a lot of money around recruitment if the different programs and things that I implement on the HR side is actually keeping employees with us, okay? So for example, there's one here at the bottom that says you conducted an internal budget audit and discovered 5 key areas of redundant spending, saving the company $23,000 per year. Reduction is also really good. For example, anyone that's in like risk management, maybe even finance, another industry like the legal, if you work in a legal department, you're really helping the company save money by minimizing its risk. So that's another great one that recruiters love to see on your resume in your experience section. The third one that I'm going to go through is impact. Impact really focuses heavily on how many people did your work help, right? So oftentimes I'll work with job seekers that, maybe they've managed a project, maybe they've supervised a team, or maybe let's say they are a project manager and they've led and managed a variety of projects. Saying that on your resume, though, isn't enough. You can easily quantify that by telling a recruiter, well, how many projects have you led and managed, right? Saying that you've managed projects for a global organization looks very different than over the course of 2 years, I've managed over 20 different projects across the globe, right? So telling a recruiter how many people or how many, adding numbers to how your work has impacted the organization is also important. Letting them know, yes, you've supervised or you've managed people, but how large was your team, right? Having one person on your team is very, very different from being an individual that has 6 people on your team. You're responsible for the growth and development and success of 6 other individuals within the company. So a couple of examples around that. Again, how many team members have you led? Maybe what's the number of users or customers that your work has impacted? Maybe you're in IT, you don't really touch clients, right? But you've developed a platform that has now touched over 100,000 users. That's extremely eye-catching to a recruiter. So here, a couple of examples. Coach mentored, led a team of 7 direct reports on the factory floor to ensure top-notch quality of products that were used by millions of customers. So see how those metrics were easily added into the work that individual does and how many people it helped. Impact is extremely important, just as important as growth and reduction. And then lastly, frequency. Frequency is another metric that recruiters really, really love to see. So thinking about how often you've completed some of the tasks as opposed to just putting on your resume your tasks and your duties. Understanding how frequently you've performed some of them go a long way. So that way they can understand that, nope, you don't just do this once or twice, but that you truly are that subject matter expert because you have the ability to do this work consistently, to achieve these results consistently, right? So for example, let's use another sales example. being someone that has exceeded the sales goal by 10% this year is also different from someone that has consistently exceeded their sales goal year after year. So for the past 3 years, they've exceeded their sales goals. So frequency is important. How much of your time do you spend doing a particular task or duty is also really, really important. And further, like I said, explains to recruiters just how much of a subject matter expert you are in that particular area. So just to recap for you guys, 4 metrics that recruiters really, really love to see: growth. How have you helped the company grow? How have you helped them make money? How have you helped them reach new customers, right? Second is reduction. Maybe how have you helped the company save time or money? Third, impact. How many people did your work touch? In the past 2 months, myself, I have worked with over 200 job seekers just in 2 short months through a variety of products and services that I offer. That's an example of impact. How many people did your work touch? And then lastly, frequency. How much of your time is spent doing something to further explain to recruiters that you are the subject matter expert in that area. So that was all I had. As I said, I tried to keep it really short, sweet, to the point, and to make sure that I wrapped up on time. So if you do want to know where you can find me, again, my name is Kevonna McAnuff. You can find me on Instagram at A Poised Professional. That is the name of my business. I share a lot of free information, tools, resources on every platform that I am on. So you can find me on Instagram. You can also find a lot of that free information on Pinterest at A Poised Professional. I'm also on LinkedIn. I share a lot of job opportunities on LinkedIn as well. So feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I will accept your connection request. And then you can also visit my website, www.apoisedprofessional.com. Or you can also shop some of my digital products and services on Shopify, apoisedprofessional.myshopify.com. Based off of what I shared with you guys today, one featured product or service that has been doing extremely well and individuals really, really love are my resume and LinkedIn audits. Essentially, you send me a resume, a job description, I go through it and give you a full-fledged, in-depth report, matching your job description to your resume, telling you what the score is and exactly what areas you need to change, so that way you don't have to guess. Where should I put what? Is my formatting okay? How do I spruce up this resume a bit? I go through and give you exactly word for word what you need to change, where you need to change it to make sure that your resume is applicant tracking system friendly and that you do get a great score when you submit your application with your resume. So I can add the link into the chat for you guys, but I look forward to connecting with all of you. And also, if you have any questions about anything, anything around resumes, LinkedIn, anything of that sort, all of these platforms, you can find me, DM me, message me, all good. I will respond to you. Looking forward to connecting with all of you.
Thank you so much. I started using Canva for all of my presentations and I'm still getting used, so I'm a little not tech savvy, so just give me one quick second. All right, so today I wanted to talk a little bit about virtual networking hacks and how you can actually use LinkedIn to not only establish yourself within the professional world, but also use LinkedIn as a real networking platform. So just to start out, I'll give you a little bit about me, and thank you so much for the initial introduction. So I actually started my career coaching a little over a year ago. I am a researcher in the STEM field, and the major reason why I started my career coaching business, to be 100% frank, is there's not enough women of color in the professional industry, especially in STEM, and I was just having an immense amount of issues and trouble really moving my career forward. So I decided to use my nonprofit management experience, my HR experience, to really be able to support women of color who are looking to advance and excel within their careers and achieve career success. So I want to just dive right in for the sake of time. I really want to focus the virtual networking on the fact that, frankly, we all have to do it now, being that we are in this COVID state. But I also want to recognize that virtual networking is something that we do all the time. I am a self-proclaimed introvert, so when networking went away from wine and cheese and balancing all of that while trying to talk to someone to a virtual platform, I actually was freaking thrilled because I felt like I would be able to actually excel within the virtual space and network to my best of my capability. So when I say we do virtual networking all the time, you can really think of using LinkedIn as a social platform. So something like an Instagram, although we're not going to post bikini pics, but you are going to really utilize that to connect and interact with other professionals within your field and outside of your field to really expand the breadth of the connections you can make and potentially get the opportunities for jobs that you want. And the way that we're going to do that is really by focusing on LinkedIn. If you are not on LinkedIn, you have to get on LinkedIn. And if you are on LinkedIn, you need to use the platform. There are over 700 million professionals using LinkedIn currently. There are 87% of recruiters use this platform to check for candidates, to either find candidates for jobs, to seek out the right candidates for opportunities, or even if you apply for a position, you will be stalked on LinkedIn to see what you're doing and just to make sure that, just check up on your professional background. So there are more than 20 million companies listed on LinkedIn, and there are 14 million job openings currently. So LinkedIn is a platform where you can establish yourself, brand yourself, connect to companies, connect to people, and connect to jobs. So it's almost kind of like that one-stop shop professional place. For LinkedIn, you can establish your brand there. LinkedIn is a way to be able to promote yourself and to promote who you are as a professional, to really be able to speak your mind, to also be a thought leader. LinkedIn is the space where you can post articles about your field or about your interests. LinkedIn is the space where you can connect with other individuals and talk intellectually about what's going on within your particular job market. LinkedIn is great for job hunting. As I just mentioned, there's tons of job opportunities and companies that are posting positions all the time. So not only can you connect with individuals, but you can actually follow companies as well. So if you have a particular company you want to work for, like me, I always wanted to work for Google, although I'm not sure that's ever going to happen. But if you have a particular company you want to work for, you can follow them and they'll be posting jobs and you'll get alerts. Also, LinkedIn has amazing professional groups, which are another opportunity for you to tap into a particular space and be able to connect with people as well. In terms of your LinkedIn profile, I'm not going to go too deep into that and just for the sake of time, but I do have a free resource if anybody is interested in having it on how to build and up-level your LinkedIn profile. So if you email me, and I'll provide my email address at the end of the presentation, I'll send that to you for free. But your profile has to have 6 specific things to definitely be catched by recruiters. A really great picture, you smiling, looking approachable, a headline that not just says what you do, but also has value statement added to it. You have to have a good summary that talks about the progression of your career. Of course, you have to have your experiences. Skills and endorsements are great. Recruiters actually search for individuals based on skills that are listed, and you get to add up to 50 different skills on your profile. And recommendations are a great way to show that not only can you do the things on your profile, but other people can really be able to say how you did it and what kinds of contributions you've made at the different positions that you've had. So jumping into networking, there's 2 different things I want to focus on, or actually 3 in terms of networking through LinkedIn. The first is to actually utilize your already existing connections on LinkedIn. The second is how to build new connections on LinkedIn. And the third is how to utilize groups to be able to get information from individuals on LinkedIn and make those connections as well. So in terms of the first bucket, these are the individuals that you already know. So you have an amazing group of individuals on your side. These are the people who know you, who like you, who trust you. Link up with them on LinkedIn if you haven't already, but definitely tap into that network. The first thing you really need to do is identify your target companies and positions. Create your list of connections. So I always tell everybody, start with knowing what you want, then go on to LinkedIn and find individuals that you already know who are in that space, in that industry, at that company. Research your list, identify how these specific individuals can help you. So for example, if you want to be in the project management space and you know someone who's the director of project management, you would want to connect with that individual and they can help you by potentially telling you how do you move up within the ladder of project management, or even who could connect you to positions within the project management space. And what you want to do with these individuals that you already know is send the help me out message, which is really the help me find a job message. And this help me out message has a few different components to it. The first is that you want to really give it a strong start. You want to let these individuals know what you are doing, which is job hunting, and why you are reaching out, which is you want to re-engage that connection. You really want to talk to them about some potential ideas or opportunities. If you haven't spoken to this individual in a while, it's a really great idea to really give them the links to the last 2 or 3 positions that you've applied for, because it gives them an idea of what specifically you're looking for in the space. You want to have an ask, so make sure that you actually state with them, what is it that you want? Do you want to talk to them, to re-engage that connection? Do you want to talk to them to really ask about how to grow within your industry? Do you want to talk to them because you want to find other connections? And it's always a great idea too to attach your resume, especially if you haven't talked to this individual for quite some time. It really gives them an idea of your trajectory, where you are currently, and then by supplying those job descriptions or links to jobs, it lets them know where you want to go. So you're giving them a whole breadth and story of you and your career. Now, if you want to make new connections, individuals are always telling me, like, I don't have connections, I don't know how to make new connections. Making new connections on LinkedIn is so easy. Like even Kevonna was saying, like, link up with me, I want to connect with people. That's what we're really using the platform for. It's always great when you're looking for new connections on LinkedIn to find a similarity, a professional organization, an alumni network, a sorority group. Find something similar that you have that connects you to someone you want to actually be linked up with. And the people that you want to connect with might be individuals in your industry or that work for companies that you would really like to work for. You want to send them an introductory message. So when you connect with someone on LinkedIn, there's that pop-up that kind of says like, hey, do you want to send a personalized message? You definitely want to do that. That personalized message is short and can just be, you're in my industry, you have a very similar job as me, or you have a career trajectory that I'm very interested in hearing about. Let's connect. I'm trying to expand my professional network. Once you're connected to them, then I say it's game on. It's your opportunity to actually be able to move that relationship forward. So you want to start an introductory message and discuss who you are and why you want to connect with this person. And the whole goal of your new connections is you want to try to have these informational interviews. So I'm sure many of you have heard of info interviews. They're exactly what they sound like. They are the opportunity for you to get to know a person, a position, an industry, a company, and a field. So once you've made these, oops, I think something got skipped. Okay, we're gonna go here. Once you've made these sort of connections with individuals, then you can establish that informational interview request where you can say, I'd really love to talk to you about, this specific industry, or I'd really love to talk to you about what it's like to work at this company. And there's a few really solid informational interview questions that I've listed here that you might want to consider asking when you get on the phone call with these new connections. So how did you know this was the right path for you? What are some of the trends that you're seeing in your industry? What are some of the projects that excite you? What is something that you wish you knew about this industry? Because again, the idea is that you really want to get to know this individual, but also you really want to get to know the field and the industry that you want to step into. So in terms of informational interviews, the thing also now is that we are in COVID. So it would be interesting to also ask questions about how COVID has affected this individual's industry, especially if you're interested in getting into it. So you have a good concept and idea of what the job search process might be looking like for you now. Another way that you can connect with new individuals to seek out these informational interviews is through the use of LinkedIn groups. So LinkedIn groups are an absolutely amazing way to get to know professionals. So it's like joining a professional association without having to pay the dues, frankly. So it's a great way to be able to connect with people in your space. And once you join the LinkedIn group, it's an awesome opportunity for you to introduce yourself and to really let the individuals that are within that group know that you're looking for potential opportunities to get to connect to people. I posted right here, this is a LinkedIn group message that someone posted specifically asking to be able to talk and connect to individuals. And this one's a great one because this one who's someone who's posted, I want to speak to someone, but they gave a really good concept of who they are, what they're looking for, what they would like to accomplish and achieve through these communications and connections. So connecting through individuals that you know is really about how can they help you find job opportunities, or how can they connect you to people who could help you find job opportunities. Connecting to new connections and is really more so about how do I get to know the person, how do I get to know the industry, how do I get to know the company, how do I get to know the space. And through that sort of connection, through that sort of mutual sort of engagement and interaction, a lot of times it naturally moves into the space of here's some opportunities that could potentially be good for you, or here are some individuals who could talk to you about some opportunities. So in terms of preparing for these informational interviews, it's essential that you sit down and really think about what does success look like for this conversation. So you want to know what your outcome should be. What is my outcome? What do I want out of this conversation? I want to be connected to other individuals, or I want to potentially know about this industry or space. When you have that conversation, you really want to make sure that there are 2 to 3 specific things that you want the other person to know about you, because the whole idea is that you don't just want it to be a data dump on you, but you also want to show your value and the contribution you can make to the industry, the space, or the positions that you're looking for. And you also want to know 2 to 3 things that you should make sure the person knows about you in terms of accomplishments. So what are some of the key highlights or attributes of your career that you would like this person to take out of this conversation? And in terms of the actual conversation, it sort of has a 4-pronged sort of approach where you start with, of course, thanking the person for their time, and then you go into stating what you want to talk about. So the agenda, you really frame the conversation. I want to chat because I'm exploring opportunities, I'm exploring job options, I'm exploring the industry. You want to share a few things about yourself. Remember, this isn't just to get tons of information, it's a reciprocal conversation. So you also want to tell the person about you and your accomplishments. And the last thing that you want to do is you want to ask those key questions and make sure that you're mindful of time. The informational interview is a time for you to listen, but it's also a time for you to offer. So remember, it's reciprocal. So you're listening for the opportunity for the person to share any pain points so that you can add value to that conversation. So if someone says to you, oh, I have this project, it's not moving, you can say, well, tell me a little bit about it, I'm curious. And once they start telling you, figure out how you could potentially add a tidbit or something that you would do differently. It shows, again, value. So you're looking for opportunities also to share your accomplishments and skills. And you want to also offer something back to the person. This person is giving you time, which is incredibly valuable. So you want to offer something. Now, for people who are early in their careers, they kind of say like, I have nothing to offer, I'm just starting out. You can always offer a recommendation on LinkedIn. LinkedIn recommendations are an amazing way to show thanks for people who take time to talk to you. It's a great way for you to say, hey, is there anything that I can offer to you? Anyone that I can connect you with? And if they say, oh, I'm not sure, or let me think about it, you can say, well, I had so much of a valuable experience with this conversation, or this experience really gave me a lot of value. I'd love to write you a recommendation on LinkedIn. Everyone one day is going to be a job seeker and will need recommendations. So individuals really usually say, that's awesome, like definitely do that, because it increases their value on their profile. So tips for success in networking: find a common connection. It's always great when, especially with individuals that you're just reaching out to be able to say, hey, we know this common person, or we work in this common industry, or we're in the same professional network. Nurture the relationship and be human. For people that you know, you can probably jump right into, I'm looking for this. But for people you don't know, you want to recognize that there's a lot going on in people's lives right now. So you want to nurture the relationship first. You want to start by seeing where this individual is in their own space before you go ahead and ask for informational interviews, or you push for anything more. So have a goal for every single reach out and call. When you get on the phone, you want to know what you want at the end so you can achieve it. And be reciprocal and offer to help, even if it's just through a recommendation. So if you're interested in getting tips from me and getting any kind of advice, I'm constantly on mostly Instagram at Jasmine Escalera Coaching, but I'm also on LinkedIn. And for anyone who's interested in getting that LinkedIn resource for free, which walks you through how to create the perfect profile and what you need to focus on to be seen, then you can email me at jasmine.escalera@gmail.com and I'll send that your way.
Good afternoon, ladies. I'm so happy to be here with you all. If you are joining, can you please let me know where you are joining from in the chat? You can type your name. Let me know where you are joining in from. That'll be really helpful as I pull up my presentation. Alrighty, so let me know where you are joining in from. I am in Miami, Florida. Let me know where you are joining in from. I'd love to hear. I see Elizabeth and a few other people. So let me know where you're joining in from before we dive in. I would love to know. And on that note, my name is Cindy Makita. So excited to be here with you all. I'm going to be chatting to you all about how to map out long-term career goals to actually achieve career success. And this topic of goal setting, I teach this a lot with my one-on-one coaching clients and with some of the people that I coach, because actually having these long-term goals for your life and with the various areas of your life, it's so important. I am a huge advocate for goal setting. And so in this session, I want to teach you how you can actually map out those long-term goals and how it can actually relate to your career success. And so awesome. I see people from Northern Virginia, awesome. Columbus, Ohio. Hi, Emily from California. Camille from New York. That's awesome. Great to see everybody. Let us get started. Thank you to the Good Vybez Tribe for having me. My name is Cindy Makita-Dodd. I am a career strategist and coach. I'm also the founder of Hyatt Institute, and I'm so happy to be here with you all today. I'm really at the core of my work. I'm extremely passionate about helping professionals and job seekers, and we do that through Hyatt Institute. We help driven professionals land their dream jobs and accelerate to their next promotion. And we do that through resumes, LinkedIn profile optimization, one-on-one coaching, and workshops. And so today, let's have a look at this agenda, and I will make sure to stay within my time limit as well. We're going to look at why long-term goals are so key to your career success, and also how do you map out those goals so you can actually stay on track. So if you are ready, give me a yes in the chat so I know that we are all on the same page. Give me a yes. Awesome. Yes. Okay, great. So why is goal setting so important? So I'm sure that you have all heard about the fact that goal setting is like a must, but why? Why is goal setting important, and why is it important for your career? So firstly, it helps to align each of your daily actions towards achieving a set outcome. Without a goal, without a vision, without something that you're working towards, it's easy to get swayed to the left and to the right. And so when you actually have that bigger picture vision, when you have that goal, you're able to align each of your daily actions towards achieving that set outcome. it gives you direction and clarity. And we'll talk a little bit more about this as we move forward. But when you are making these key career decisions in your life, right, that many of us come across, should I take this position or should I take this one? Do I actually want to move forward within the current role that I'm in? Do I want to make a career pivot or a switch? Having those long-term career goals actually helps to align, and it gives you that direction and clarity to make it easier to make those key career decisions. Because very often when you come to a point in your life where you have to make a decision, do I pivot? Do I stay where I'm at? Do I want to explore maybe a different opportunity? Making those clear career decisions that actually set you up for success, it helps to align it with your bigger picture, vision, and goals. And it actually helps it a lot easier to make those key career decisions. It overall pushes you forward to achieve greater things. Of course, if you have these big picture goals and visions, it actually helps you to push forward to achieve these great things in your life because you know that you're setting your eye and you're setting yourself up for something bigger. And of course, it is a key factor in living a successful life. Every successful entrepreneur, every successful business owner, every successful professional sets goals for themselves. It helps to keep your mind focused and to keep you aligned with what you are working towards. And so I teach goal setting within the 5 different areas of your life: career, financial, personal, et cetera, health and fitness. But today we're going to be focusing specifically on career, of course, but you can apply what you learned today to actually set goals in the various areas of your life. Most professionals don't have concrete career goals. So I work with job seekers on a day-to-day, and when I ask some of them, so what are your career goals? Some people will have an answer, but very often most people won't. Having concrete career goals are so key. It helps you as a job seeker. It's going to help you as a professional, as we mentioned. And when you have to make those key career decisions, you will know exactly where to go because it's going to line up with your bigger picture vision for your life. So not having concrete goals is a problem, and here's why. If you don't have these kind of concrete career goals and things that you're working towards, your career is left in the hands of the job market, your employer, and various other external factors, and that's not good. And so in order to actually have autonomy in your career, to take back control, you have to know where you are going. Throughout the past couple of months, there have been many people that have been laid off. And with the job seekers that I've been working with, very often, and a lot of times it came up, that people weren't sure where to go. They weren't sure what to do next. And so to avoid that, to avoid the uncertainty, of course, things in life happen, right? Uncertainties will come. This part of the pandemic that's happened, it's been a huge shift for a lot of people. But knowing what your long-term goals are, knowing what you are working towards, helps you make the decision in taking that next step in your career because you know that it's going to be aligned. And when I know, for example, you want to be a CTO, right, a Chief Technology Officer in a global organization, and that is your long-term goal. If I get laid off today, I know that the next position that I'm going to be working towards has to set me up to actually get me to that bigger picture vision, which is to be a CTO at a global organization. So regardless of what twists and turns my career makes, every decision that I'm going to be making has to line up to that bigger picture goal and vision. It's a problem because you will have difficulty making career decisions and because there's no clear path and direction if you don't have goals, as I mentioned. And then not knowing what you're working towards can lead to a lack of motivation. So each of us, faces a point in our lives where sometimes we don't wake up, feel motivated. We're not really enjoying the work that we do. And that can happen sometimes as professionals or in your career. But when you know what you're working towards, it increases your motivation because you know each and every day, your daily actions, you're working towards something bigger. And so it actually helps to boost and increase that motivation. We are oftentimes our own biggest hindrances from achieving great success and reaching our full potential. And that is the truth, right? Very often, we are our biggest hindrances from achieving career and life success because of various reasons, right? But when I work with job seekers, one thing that I tell them all the time is to have that long-term, bigger picture vision for your life that is more than just the temporary, that is more than just where you're at, and it's where you want to be. Casting that bigger picture vision for your life, making it big, right? Not limiting yourself not limiting yourself based on your circumstance or your abilities, but actually, getting out of your comfort zone, looking at that bigger picture vision can help you work towards achieving your full potential. Because each of us has amazing, amazing capabilities and abilities, and placing those limits on ourselves really hinders us from achieving that success. When we're able to set those long-term goals, we're actually able to step out of that, break through the barriers that we place on ourselves, and work towards reaching our full potential. Let's have a look, before we look at actually how do you map out these long-term career goals, let's look at some of the most common goal-setting mistakes that I see people make. Number one, thinking too small. As I mentioned, we are our own biggest hindrances from achieving career success or from achieving our full potential. And so when you're goal setting, I want you to eliminate the limiting beliefs, right? You want to really get your mind in a sense of thinking bigger than yourself, right? If you had no limits, what is it that you want to achieve? So you don't want to think small when you are setting goals. It's one of the most common goal setting mistakes. Setting goals that are too vague, right? You want to be very specific when you are setting your goals. Not having a timeline, right? So when you're setting goals, you always want to have a date. And of course, things in life happen. None of us were predicting a pandemic to happen. And not a lot of people would predict that they would get laid off or be furloughed. Things in life happen, but when you have a timeline, it is good that you're keeping yourself aligned, and it's okay for your goals to shift depending on what happens in life. As long as you set that timeline, it's actually helping you work towards those objectives and getting you closer to that bigger picture vision. The next is a lack of confidence in yourself, in your abilities. That's a very, very common goal setting mistake. You really want to eliminate these limiting beliefs before you actually start setting those goals. Not writing them down, right? Just thinking up a goal is not enough. You have to write it down, put it down on paper, create a vision board if you must. But writing your goals down is so key. It's not real until it's on paper, okay? And then neglecting to set the why behind your goals. A goal without a why is just not going to be effective. What's going to keep you motivated, what's going to keep you waking up in the morning, working towards that goal is the why behind your goal. So if your big picture visional goal is to be a chief technology officer at a global organization, why do you want to be that? Why is it your goal to have that position? Is it that you want to make an impact on technology on a global scale? Is it that you want more freedom with your family, freedom of time, flexibility of having the finances that you want? Figure out the why behind your goals, and that's really going to make them more effective. As human beings, we are driven by an internal, deeper why, than we are driven by just the what, right? We're driven more by the why than the what behind our goals. So for each of the goals that you set for yourself, make sure that you write down the why behind it. Is everybody with me? I know it's a lot of information. I want to get everything done. Give me a yes in the chat if you are with me. Yes, if you are learning something. Let me see if we're all on the same page. Before I move forward, yes. Yes from Emily. Good Vybez Tribe says yes. Camille says yes. Awesome. Okay, let's move forward. So you always want to begin with the end in mind. When goal setting and when I'm teaching goal setting, I always tell the people that I'm coaching to look at the bigger picture vision first. Begin with the end in mind. If you are, think of 10, 20 years down the line, the bigger picture vision, your someday goal, you want to look at the end goal first. Where do I want to be, like years from now, looking at the end goal first, and then we're going to work our way backwards to the present. Okay. So how do you set these long-term goals? Let's see. There are 5 goal setting steps, and we're going to go through each one. That's going to help you actually set these goals for yourself. So please take notes, screenshot if you must. I think this is going to be really helpful for you. So first, you want to set your big someday goal. This someday goal is that big picture vision that you have for your life. Where do I want to be someday, right? That's your timeline, someday. You're not going to place any limits on yourself. I want you to think and dream big. Do not limit yourself when you are setting this big picture someday goal. I want you to dream big. I want you to write something down, and then I want you to 10x it, and then let that be your goal. Okay, so you're going to set that big someday goal. Number two, you're going to figure out your why, because remember what we said, the why at the core of it, that's what's going to keep you motivated. That's what you're going to be working towards. It's the why behind the goal, not the what. Next, you're going to write down your 5 and your 1 year goals. So the someday goal was your big picture vision, what you want to achieve someday. Then you're going to break that down into 5 years and 1 year. 5 years from now, where do I need to be to get me on track to my someday goal? And 1 year from now, where do I need to be to keep me on track for my 5 year and then my someday goal? Next, and a lot of people miss out on this step in goal setting, is evaluating your obstacles, skills, and knowledge. So what could potentially get in the way of my goals? Being aware of it beforehand, when it comes, you're going to be able to combat it. Figuring out what skills and knowledge you need to acquire along the way to actually help you achieve your 1 year, 5 year, and someday goals. And then, of course, revisiting your goals regularly to adjust, to tweak, to see where you are, where you're at in relation to your goals is essential as well. So those are the 5 steps. I want to ask all of you, if you could not fail, if there were no limits, if you had everything that you needed to succeed, where would you like to be? Where do you see yourself? So when you're thinking about this, you can do a self-reflection, take some time to think about removing those limiting beliefs that we place on ourselves, that society places on us, that our community or family perhaps places on us. Removing those limiting beliefs and thinking about, if I could not fail, if there were no limits on time, on finances, or anything like that, and if I had everything that I needed to succeed, where do I want to be? Where do I see myself? That is your someday goal. So someday, right, whether it's career related, which we're talking about today, or it's in terms of your maybe finances, your personal life, if there were no limits, where do you want to be? I want you to write that down, that big picture vision or goal, and that is your someday goal. The second step was to figure out your why. And the why, as I mentioned, is that internal motivator behind your goal. What is the reason that you absolutely must achieve this goal? If you have a certain revenue amount that maybe income or net worth that you want to be at, and that's your big someday goal, why is it? Why is it that you want to have $5 million in your bank account? Is it that you have that freedom and flexibility of your money and of your time? Maybe it's that you'll be able to pay for your kids' tuition and save up. Whatever that is for you, figuring out the why behind your goals is extremely essential. Number 3, break down that big someday goal into 5 year and 1 year goals. So as I mentioned, thinking about, where do I need to be 5 years from now to keep me on track for my someday goal? And then where do I need to be a year from today to keep me on track for my 5 year and then my someday goal? So looking at the bigger picture vision and goal first, and then working backwards is really, really helpful. Number 4, evaluating your obstacles, skills, and knowledge. You have to anticipate obstacles when you are goal setting, because of course, right, there will be things that come in the way. What might come in the way or hinder you from achieving that goal? What might get in the way of you becoming that CTO that you want to become, right? And that's your big someday goal, the global organization. What's going to stand in the way? Anticipating those obstacles will be really helpful, because when they come, you would have already anticipated them and you're going to know what to do to overcome it. And then secondly, which is really, really important here, what skills and knowledge do I need to make these goals a reality? So if my big goal is to one day be an entrepreneur, what skills and knowledge do I have to acquire in order to one day have my own business? Do I need to know how to do social media marketing? Do I need to know how to do sales, how to get on a call with somebody and sell my services? What skills and knowledge do you have to acquire throughout your journey to actually make these goals a reality? Because it's great to set those big picture goals, but actually knowing what skills and knowledge you need to make those goals a reality will help take that goal setting to that next level. And of course, revisit and assess regularly. It's so key that you revisit your goals regularly. I personally write out my goals every day. I have my little black book, let's see right over here. I'll show you all. This is my little black book. I write out my goals daily because I like to visualize what I'm working towards every day. I also write out my quarterly goals and my yearly goals. So on a quarterly basis, I like to reassess and reevaluate my goals. So I set these goals for the quarter. How close or how far am I from achieving them? Where do I need to adjust and maybe move in certain areas? You know, what skills that I developed over the past 3 months that actually helps me work towards my goals. Revisiting and assessing your goals regularly will help you keep aligned and in check as you work towards those big someday goals. And of course, use goals when making career decisions. So if you come to a point in your career where you have to make a decision to leave a company, to stay, to branch out and maybe start your own business, to pivot careers, I want you to think about, what are my long-term goals? This next step that I'm going to be taking, does it line up with my big someday goal, my 5-year goal, and my 1-year goal? If it does, yes, take that leap, make that move, start that business. And if it doesn't, assess maybe why it doesn't, and then maybe, you know, don't go in that direction. But when you're making these key career decisions, having those long-term career goals really, really helps you to make a sound decision that's actually going to leave you fulfilled, because you'll know when you make that decision that it's leading to that big someday goal, which is that next step in your life. And so I hope that was really helpful. I usually teach those, of course, in the longest session. So I try to condense it. Thank you all so much. Thank you for having me, Good Vybez Tribe. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, Cindy Makita, as well as LinkedIn as well that I didn't include. But I really, really hope that you all found this useful, that you actually take the steps to start goal setting. It's been extremely helpful in my life, within my business. And I know that the people that I teach goal setting to have found it really useful as well. And I hope that you all did as well.
I can take it first, Cindy, unless you want to jump in. So for me, the biggest thing is really, first off, I'm a researcher, so I research everything just way too extensively. But I think the number one thing to do is really to know what the industry standard for your position is. So to really be going on salary.com, Glassdoor, and to be finding out an individual who's interested in your position within your industry and with your experience level, what's the range that individuals are making in that space, and to compare it to what you're making currently. I always tell people that it's good when you're going into a negotiation to know what it is that you really want, and also to be flexible. I have a lot of individuals right now, a lot of women who are saying that I want to make good money, but what's more important to me is, now that I've been working from home, I see that I have more time to spend with my family. I'm just generally happier. So they're negotiating now more so around happiness, quality of life, less so around like necessarily pushing salary lists. Or some of them are doing both, which I really advocate for, because I think holistically you should be able to get everything that you want. So I think it's really knowing industry standards, but knowing what is it that you really want the company to show you in terms of value. Is salary the thing you need, or is there some other components that you feel would make you happy in terms of your career and have the company showing you value that isn't necessarily salary as well? When I go into a negotiation, what I do tell people is to steer away from necessarily telling anyone what you make currently, because it takes the power out of your hands. So I am a big advocate of, when you go into negotiation, you want to go in with power and you want to maintain that power. So I like to tell individuals to restart a conversation again around the research. So I did my research, and the industry standard for this position is between 90 and 105. And because of my skills and experiences, I know I should be landing on the higher end of that. And then once you figure out what the number is from the other side, you negotiate, but again, keeping it open as to what other things would make you happy. So if they tell you, well, we can give you that range, but we're going to have to put you on the lower end, but you really wanted that 105, is there something else that you can add in to sweeten the pot? So perhaps working from home 2 days a week is something that would really help. So that 90K is great, but also it increases just your wellness, your well-being, your happiness, happiness. So I like to, you know, I'm all about the power being in the hands of the woman and the power being in the hands of you as the person going into that negotiation, and maintaining that power, and also knowing what it is that really is going to make you happy in the end.